Oh, hey, hi, you are here. Good to see you. I'm happy that you're here to find out more about Canadian immigration. I'm Christina, and welcome to the As Told by Canadian Immigrants community. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, and if you like this video, at the end of it, give it a thumbs up and share it. Let's dive into this week's topic: the student visa and student permit application. All right, so of course you're going to have to apply to the school. Now, whether you're going to apply online or use an immigration consultant, it's going to cost you some money, right? At the time when I applied, it was about 50 Canadian dollars to use an immigration consultant, to just have a consultation with him, and then after that he would apply for me, and I had to pay some more money in order for him to apply to the schools for me, right? So let us budget for about 150 Canadian dollars, whether you're applying online or you're using an immigration consultant. Budget about 150 Canadian dollars to apply to school, right? And that's just the application. There's also a transcript that you're going to have to get to the school, right? And this transcript is going to come directly from your school, either to the school here, or if the immigration consultant is a representative of the school and can apply for you, which was my case, all I had to do was pay my school to get my transcript, give him my transcript, he took a copy of it, and he applied to the school for me. I didn't have to request that my school send it directly to the school. But that's not typical, I don't believe. And if it is, you let me know. Comment below, right? But for right now, let us say that you have to apply to the school on your own, online, and you have to get your school in your country to mail your transcript to that country, right? So $150 to apply to the school, and let us say about 80 Canadian dollars to get your transcript from your school to that school, right? These are going to be plus or minus costs because it depends on the country that you're from, right? This would be, from my perspective as a Jamaican, it's plus or minus $80 to get that transcript to the school in Canada. And if you're applying to multiple schools, then it's going to be multiple transcripts, and so you're going to have to tack on a little bit more money, right? But budget for about 80 Canadian, right? Then after you say, okay, now I've applied to school, my transcript is there, all right, and then now is the visa application. So now you've been accepted to school, spirit fingers, you're happy. Now you have to apply for your actual visa. Now the visa application has a cost in and of itself, but then you have several components that you need to attach to your visa application that you're going to need to pay for, right? So don't just think through, okay, the visa application costs this amount of money. Think about everything that goes into the visa application, right? And budget for that, right? So the student visa application by itself on the CIC website is 235 Canadian dollars, right? So 235 Canadian dollars for the actual application. Now within that application, you have to take a picture, right? You have to take some photographs, you have to take pictures, okay? How much does that cost in your country? Let us say we're going to budget for a worst case of about 30 Canadian dollars. And why I use 30? Because if you go to Walmart, it's about $27 to get 2 pictures. But if you go to Costco, it's $7. So go to Costco. But worst case scenario, I don't know what it is in your country, budget for about 30 Canadian dollars to take 2 passport size pictures in order to attach to your application. Then you're also going to have to pay for a police certificate. Now this is debatable, and we probably should have a debate panel as to whether or not you should attach a police certificate, because it's not clear. And that's why this community is here, guys, to help you with the gray areas, because it's not clear on the website or on any document checklist as to if you need a police certificate or not. And if you find something that is saying black and white, plain and simple, you must put a police certificate, you tell me. But I got rejected because I didn't have one. So call CIC and find out if you need one. Everybody I know has had one. If you haven't had one, comment below, and I will repeat this over and over and over until I find somebody who's been approved without their police certificate, because I'm gonna raise hell. I'm just kidding. I'm over it. I'm over it, okay? I'm over it. Don't bring it up, okay? I'm over it. right? So let us say you have to do a police certificate, right? So that's going to be plus or minus 80 Canadian dollars. It depends on the country that you're in. It depends on the express service, if you want it tomorrow, or if you want it a day from now, or if you want it 5 days from now. It's, let us say, your budget for about 80 Canadian dollars, right? And then alongside that, now you need to show that you can pay for school, because you're going to have to pay the tuition. That should be the first thing on my list of things, right? We're not necessarily going in order of priority. We're just going in order of, okay, you've accepted, now you have to go to school, right? Of course, for your visa, you have to show proof of funds, right? So this is not money that you're going to give to CIC. This is just money that you're going to show that you have, that you can support yourself and you can afford to go to school in Canada, right? Now, the student tuition fees, it's gonna vary based on like how many semesters you're going to school for, which school you go to is gonna vary, right? So I'm going to throw out a figure of about 17,000 for 2 semesters, right? And it can be plus or minus, right? It depends on the program. There's so many variables that go into it, right? So you're gonna need to know that number yourself, right? But let us say plus or minus $17,000, right? For your tuition. On the CIC website, right, and this is something that you can Google, you can actually type in proof of funds for study permit in Canada and scroll to the bottom of the page, and it's going to tell you that you need, in addition to your tuition, need to show that you have at least $10,000. Okay, so this is something that, you know, a lot of people have questions about. How much money do I need to show? This is what the CIC black and white website says. Right, $10,000 per year. So if you're going to a 3-year program, now do you need to show all the money all at once? I don't know. That might be an immigration consultant's question, but I mean, typically you're going to school for a year. If you're going for 2 years, you need to show that you have a little bit more money, or that you will work or something, right? And yes, you can provide affidavits of support from people who are going to be paying this money for you if you don't have the money yourself, right? And I explained that in another video, okay? So then now that you've shown your proof of funds, right? And it depends if you're coming with family. If you're coming with family, it's more money, right? So it's $10,000 if it's just you, an additional $10,000 on top of your tuition. If you bring in one more person, it's going to be $4,000 extra on top of that $10,000 on top of your tuition. And then if you bring in a third person, like say for instance, a husband and wife and a child is coming, you need to show the $10,000 for the student, an additional $4,000 for the husband, an additional $3,000 for the third person, which is the child. Well, that's just an example. That's what you need to show, right? Then on top of that, now, when you submit your visa, right, you're gonna have to, I do recommend to do it online, right? And I go over the reasons why doing it online is beneficial in this video, so you can check that video out if you're struggling between, should I make it a paper application or should I make it an online application? I'm a millennial, everything is online for me. So you go, you know, do what's best for you, right, based on the pros and the cons, and regardless, your visa application is going to be processed, right? But you have to accommodate for, in your budget, courier services, right? And the courier services are because when you submit your application, of course, if it's online, you're not paying for anything. If it's PayPal, you're paying for it, right? You're paying for it to be shipped there with a legitimate company that you can track the information, right? If you do online, you're going to have to go to a visa application center and do your fingerprints, and you have the option at that time to give them your passport. And if you give them the passport, you're going to need a return envelope, right? So you have to pay for a return envelope. It's going to be just an envelope without information filled in to say that once everything is processed, use this envelope to send my passport back to me, because I'm not paying for your passport to send back to you, okay? Nowhere in the world, even in Canada, you have to pay for the envelope and then send it back to you. But this is the government. The CIC is the government. The post office is the government. They can't just bust you up on a free mail. But anyways, you have to pay for an envelope, you know, for a courier service, DHL, FedEx, Canada Post, whatever it is. And you're going to budget for about $50 for that, right? Plus or minus $50. It could be less. It's likely going to be less. But I'm just saying worst case scenario. And I mean, it's really, realistically, it's probably going to be about plus or minus 30 Canadian dollars. But I don't know what it is in your country, right? So this is, just do the research. But this is like, these are rough figures to help you to have an idea of, okay, when you start the process, here's what to expect in terms of costs, right? Because it's easy to think about just the tuition. And here is one more big cost, right? Not as big as a tuition, but a cost that is probably sometimes overlooked until the end of the road. Your plane fare, okay? Budget for your plane fare. And it depends on the time that you're traveling. When I was traveling, it was peak season. Like everything that could have happened in my application happened. Okay, I was leaving the week of New Year's, and that is why it's peak, is because then of course everybody's traveling back to their home country to get back to work, and the airline is like, whoa, the demand is high, let's make everything expensive. So my ticket was a one-way ticket, and it was a $500 Canadian ticket. It's even more than 500 Canadian dollars because it was 500 and something, right? So budget for your plane ticket. And I'm just going to put on here plus or minus $500 just to be safe, because you don't know what season that you're traveling in. And now if you're looking for assistance with booking your plane ticket, or if you're looking for a budget plane ticket, comment below to see if I can find you a budget plane ticket, because I got links in high places. You know me. So comment below if you need assistance with booking your plane ticket or need a quote for a plane ticket. I can hook you up, right? So check that out, right? So here, this is like a rough breakdown of the costs that you need to anticipate when you are applying for a student visa or a study permit, right? Student visa, study permit, potato, in the context of applying for a student visa, right? What they're going to give you is actually a visa in your passport. And then you get here, and then you get the piece of paper that says here's a study permit. But it's different for different people, right? Another thing that you need to budget for, and this budget is when you're budgeting for the time. The processing time for a study permit is important, okay? So I need you to work backwards from when you need to be at school, or for when you need to be in Canada. Say for instance, you want to get there like 2 weeks early, just to get acclimatized, just to settle, just to understand your bus routes, and just to get acclimatized into the Canadian culture, right? Or the Canadian environment, okay? So let us say school starts on this day. I want to get to Canada on this day. My visa application is going to take this much time to process, okay? For me, it was 2 months is what they said was the processing time at that time, right? So now this is updated ever so often on the CIC website, right? So you can check it out, right? You can go on the website, you type in study permit processing time, and it will take you to the CIC website, right? Once you get there, you put in what are you applying for, what country are you applying for, and it will spit out what the processing time is. So here, right now, on this day, May the 4th be with you. Just kidding, it's May the 5th, but I really wanted to say that. In 2019, the processing time for a study permit in Jamaica is 4 weeks, which is great. For me, it was 8 weeks, right? So 4 weeks is great. So it gives you enough time to think through when you need to apply. So set a timer on your phone. I need to submit my application by latest this day in order to get through on this day, and then pack my bag and go to Canada on this day, and then start school on this day. Okay, so work through that. Budget for not just money, but time. Okay, so that's a rough breakdown of the costs associated with a student visa application. And consider that if you're rejected, it's an additional $235 on top of that, right? And you don't want to be wasting money. You don't want to be throwing away money. That money you're going to need for when you actually are in Canada, because I'm going to prepare you. I'm going to try and prepare you for what's next. I'm going to try and prepare you for what to expect when you come here in terms of the cost of living, because I feel like that is something that is oftentimes not heavily researched. And as a result, you know, expectations are to some extent unrealistic, right? Because if you think like, okay, I can just get a little car. When you think about getting a little car, are you thinking about what insurance is going to cost, right? So I feel like you think about the cost of the car, you're not thinking about insurance, right? And I didn't, right? And I'm going to tell you this because like I told you, like I got some shots and I'm going to teach you guys how to put on a bulletproof vest, or if you get some shots, how to recuperate from those shots, or teach you how to dodge those shots, because I want you guys to learn from our mistakes. And that's the reason we're here. That's the reason I'm here, is because I have experience-based information. And if I can stop you guys from making any mistakes that I did, I will, because the amount of anxiety that it cost me, I will pay it back I'll pay back to the universe by stopping you guys from being anxious in the process, right? So this video is really just help you to have a realistic idea of what to expect in terms of what monies you're going to pay, right? I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and join our community. Hit the subscribe button right here so that we can add you to our community. You can click the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new episode, you will be notified that there's a new episode and there's more awesome information that you guys can tap into. So I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, do all that wonderful stuff, and share this with your friends. See you in the next video.